Hi guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do another unboxing. It's a Monday, we've just closed the shop, Christine's gone home. I'm going to spend an hour or so here, which I often do after the customers all clear out, and get a bit of stuff organised. What are we going to unbox? I don't know. Well, you will know because you've read the title. At this stage of the video, I don't know. So let's go and have a look over under the bench over there and find a box to empty out. Okay, let's go for a walk with the tripod. Hopefully I don't hit the leg on anything or you guys will feel like there's an earthquake. Righto, this counter over here, down there, I've gradually been cleaning out. There's a few boxes at this end. Let's have a look in that cardboard one first. Now I don't know what's in here. I don't think I put it here. Would have been one of my helpers. And it looks like, oh God, it looks like a jumble of stuff that's kind of half office supplies and half workshop consumables. I think I'll go through that another time. We might leave that one alone. I don't think it's very interesting for you guys. This one here is a heavy timber army box. And it looks to have some old washing machine rollers in it. But I don't know what's underneath. Well, the box is pretty nice actually. Box Transit 12 shell high explosive HE maybe. £6, 700 weight. I'm not sure. It's obviously an army box. Probably World War II or a little bit after. Not sure. It might even have a date on it somewhere. As for what's in it, I don't know if it's going to be very interesting. We'll have a bit of a dig. These are actually rubber. And it looks like there might be some blacksmith tools in here. I don't think there's going to be a lot of stuff and a lot of value, but let's unpack it anyway and see how we go. Okay, we'll put these two rubber things aside. Look, they may have a use. I don't know if they're going to be of any value. The rubbers seems fairly hard, but they don't seem perished, so we might have to do some checking on those ones. Now all these, they remind me of the rollers from an old washing machine wringer. They're like rubber coated, but the rubber's gone quite hard on them again. But I think that's what they would have been as wringer rollers. I don't know that they're going to have much use. They might just have to go in the scrap metal. And there's another one. This one's more perished, so the rubber's really no good on that one. However, someone may have a use for them. They might actually make, there's 4 of them all up. They might actually make good rollers for, say, a timber platform where you're milling timber and you want to feed it in on rollers. You could easily fit some bearings to either end. So they may have a use. We might be able to sell them. Now this has been modified. This is a blacksmith tongs, and someone's welded up a frame onto here to do a specific job or to hold something. I don't know what, but that's going to be saleable. It looks like the handle's been broken and welded back on. Quite an old set of blacksmith tongs, and there's some other ones in here actually, just looking at this. I don't remember where this stuff came from. It feels like the first time I've ever seen it. Those tongs are well and truly rust closed. I can't open them at all. So we may investigate a way of freeing those up. Perhaps I might soak them in some diesel fuel. That can help. They're almost welded together with rust. They've been lying in the dirt for a long time. But if we can get them to move, they're certainly saleable. There's all sorts. It's a specialist blacksmith tongs for holding something round. I had a customer in the other day asking for blacksmith tools. I should have unboxed this box last week. They're slightly curved ones again for holding some sort of rod or a round stock. We had some large pincers. These are pretty cool old tools, and these will get probably $10 each with a little bit of a cleanup. There's some angled ones. They're frozen up again. So this video might turn out to be a video on how to free up rusted blacksmith tools. Some large pinchers again, they're quite okay, those ones, they just need a clean up. This is a brick bolster, so it's basically a large chisel for cutting bricks. That one will sell quite well. I've sold plenty of these before. I can't read a brand on it, but it will be a fairly good quality steel. So that's at least $10. more tongs here. These have been modified, or maybe I think they were normal little tongs and someone's welded an extra piece on them. But again, we can sell them as blacksmith tongs, as I said, at least $10 each. Another flat set here, they look okay. So I'll give them a wash up as well. So it's amazing. If I include the value of this box, we're going to have $100 worth of stuff here. It's incredible how it adds up. What's in the bottom here? This looks like a little saw set tool. So you'd put your, it's probably for a little hand, like for a wood hand saw or a tenon saw, you'd put the tooth just over there and you just bend it slightly one way. The next tooth you'd bend the other way. It's a real basic saw set, but that's what it will be. That will clean up okay. This is an ear notcher of some sort, a notcher for like ear tagging pigs, although it doesn't put a tag in, it just takes a notch out, which I would imagine will be very painful. Should have a return spring in there. We'll clean that up again, that should sell. Alright, these ones, I'm not going to tell you what those are, they're going to go in the next mystery object, and don't guess in this one, wait until that next mystery object video is coming out, it'll be very soon. Okay, some more tongs, a little bit lighter gauge those ones, and a little set of pincers here. They look in pretty good condition, they'll be fine with a wash up. What do we got in the bottom here? That looks like a car sticker for a windscreen repair company, no value there. And just a galvanised pipe fitting. That's all that's in the box. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'll wash these up next chance I get. I won't do it right now, but you guys will see it very shortly. I'll just give them a wash up to clean them up a little bit. We'll identify the ones that we can sell straight away. The ones that are frozen solid we'll put aside and we'll do a little bit of an experiment, free them up. I think I'll just put $10 on the set of rollers and we'll put them in the shop as they are. We'll see how they go. This mystery object I'm going to value at $15, but we won't tell you what it is in this video. You'll have to wait for that. The Timber Army box here, I don't have a lid for it unfortunately, but the box is in pretty good condition other than being very dirty. So I'm just going to take that home and give that a wash up on the back lawn with the hose. I think we'll get $20 for that. I do have a box of assorted galvanised plumbing fittings, so that can go straight into that box. So we'll do a notepad list at the end of what this stuff's worth. I won't price out the tongs until I've cleaned them up, because if some of them are frozen and we can't get them freed up, they won't be as much obviously value as the ones that work fine and look quite good. So next stage of this video, I'm going to wash everything up and let's have a look at freeing up a couple of or a few of those blacksmith tongs. Okay, I'm home today guys. I'm going to clean up some of these tools. All I've got here is some warm water with a bit of dishwashing detergent in it. The bubbles have disappeared, but it has got some detergent. And I'm just going to use a stainless steel scouring ball. And this is all I do with a lot of tools for the shop. I don't want to necessarily make them look, I certainly don't want to make them look new. Rust isn't bad. It's a great patina. It's popular, and sometimes collectors, if they want to restore something, would prefer to get it as found and then restore it to their own sort of tastes. So I just like to present things in the shop clean, and so that they don't leave a mess in the shop, they don't get people's hands dirty, but I certainly don't mind a little bit of rust for a lot of things for display. I do polish up some tools a bit more, and it depends on what it is. Quite often I'll use a wire wheel, and we might try that on a couple of these, particularly when I want to find a brand name. Most of these old blacksmith tools, I don't think they're not normally branded. So I'm just going to give these a little bit of scrub, and that will get them presentable for the shop. We'll work out some prices, and then we'll have a look at the two that are actually seized. So these have all washed up really well. I'm very happy with these. It's a very acceptable patina. They're clean to touch. They're not dirty. The steel wool, or the stainless steel scourer, actually leaves them quite smooth. So where they were a bit rough with the rust, it smoothed them out nicely. And all these tongs operate beautifully. That one certainly has been made for a special job. It's been very well done too, quite good welds on it. I did ponder whether I should keep that, whether I'd have a use for it for something, but don't be ridiculous, we'll sell it. I'll work out some prices. What I'm going to do on these, I think these original ones will probably get better money than these that have been modified. But I reckon I'm going to actually put them in a bucket as a selection and actually put $20 each on them and let my customers decide what they're worth. I've done this many a time, and quite often it's one that I don't think is quite up to the price actually sells first. So everyone has different eyes, they have different uses. Someone actually might have a forge and need some sort of tool with that shape. I don't know, but if I do that, then there's a chance that we're going to get $20 for the better ones without any problems. Any that sit there for a while, I will then discount to 15, and if they're there for much longer, they'll be down to 10. So my discount structure does depend on how old the stock is, but they've cleaned up really well. I'm very happy with those, and if we get 20 each for most of them, we're going to do very well. The pincers cleaned up really nicely as well. They're in good operating condition. I didn't see any marks, any brands on any of them. There may be a brand there. We might touch these with a wire wheel just to check. Not that it makes a big difference, but some of the rarer brands can certainly, if you find a brand on them, it's worth quickly checking eBay to see. I once found a spanner in a box of junk at a clearing sale. I think I don't know if there's a brand on that. And it was faintly branded, and I cleaned it up, and it actually said J. Furphy, which was a well-known name around this area and most of Australia for making water tanks. And I sold that spanner on eBay for $800. So it can make a big difference for finding a brand on some old tools. But these have cleaned up really well. I'll probably put 20 on those because they're so large and they're quite nice operating condition. These ones are really nice too, actually. So we might go 15 on those. Probably just 5 on those ones. I think they're more modern. They've still got the coat of paint on them, so maybe 5. I'll write down a list at the end, as I always do. Let's clean up these couple here, just on a little wire wheel, and show you how they come up with the wire wheel. Now, ideally, I'd use something like this larger bench grinder on a pedestal, and I have purchased a wire wheel for it, but I'm still not set up to use it yet. It's still sort of cluttered in the corner there, and I can't quite get to it. But this time, we will use the poor man's buffing wheel, which is just a little wire wheel in a drill jammed in a vise. So you don't have to have the top, best equipment to do jobs like this. Any old drill, and you can pick up these wire wheels fairly cheap. Put it in a vise, and you can lock the trigger on it, so it'll work perfectly fine for cleaning up these old tools. Okay, after a little buffing, you can see that these notches really cleaned up well. It doesn't take all that long to do. There is a brand or a mark or something there, but I can't really make it out. They seem to be in good operational condition, these notches. I'm not sure what they're worth. I might have to check eBay completed items. I would guess at probably about $15 on those in the shop. I also cleaned up this saw set. I couldn't see any marks on it. Actually, it's quite thin. I think it's not a particularly good quality one. There's no brands on it that I could see, so that's probably only a $5 item. I did buff up just the shoulder of these large pincers, and it just shows you how well it highlights the marks when you give them a bit of wire wheel treatment. If we get a focus on that, there we go. You can see it says P.L. Schmidt Elberfeld. So it's German. It's got like a Masonic Lodge type compass symbol. So they're nice quality German pincers. I didn't bother about cleaning up the rest of them, but at least the mark is now very easy to read. I think I'll still stick with $20 on those. Now, the only other thing to do with this video is see if we can free up these frozen ones. Now, I've tried with both hands, and it actually feels like it's going to bend the handles before the pivot point starts to move, and exactly the same on these ones. But I didn't want to soak them in diesel or or any particular rust dissolver. I know some people use vinegar. I've tried citric acid. There's lots of methods for cleaning up rust on old tools, and I will actually do a comparison video at some stage on the best methods of cleaning up rusty steel. But rather than do two separate tools like this, whereas this one might free up very easily and this one might be totally welded closed, it wouldn't be a fair comparison to say, you know, soaking in vinegar works fine, or diesel, or molasses, or any of the other rust removal methods. I generally actually use electrolysis for cleaning up old tools if they're better quality. I'm not going to do any of those methods on these. I don't want to necessarily get the pivot point all oily. I mean, if I sprayed them with WD-40 and let them soak for a week and kept spraying them every day, they're not going to look like these, are they? They're going to look oiled around the joint. I don't really want to give them that look. I'm not doing a full restoration. I just want them to move. So what I'm going to consider here is, and what you need to consider is to understand how rust forms and what it does. Now, rust is an oxide of iron and it swells. So, in fact, you can probably see in the jaws here, as things rust, they kind of grow. And it's actually got flakes of rust in between those jaws. And when it grows in a pivot point, it binds up. So if we can free up the rust in there, and I'm going to use some shock treatment, we should start to get it to move. And these pivot points aren't so precise that it needs to be lubricated to keep moving, because if you look at any of these, they actually wobble in the joints. You can see how the arm moves back and forward on the pivot points, and they're not super precise. Some of them are very wobbly. A lot of these were just blacksmith made, and the rivets are just peened over by hand. So I think we can probably shock these to free up the flaky iron oxide and hopefully bring them back to life without use of oil or spray. Now we could shock them a few different ways. You can shock them with heat. If I heated that up with an oxyacetylene torch, you would eventually free them up just from the expansion from the heat, and then you could dip them in cold water and that will shock the metal. I'm just going to try to jar either side without deforming the metal too much, because I don't want to ruin the tools. Okay, we'll try a mash hammer, and I'll just try and jar the rivet without flaring the other side of it. So we'll put it over the hole in the anvil. Okay, I have to report that was a fail. I've had this in the vise. I've started to bend the handle. I've tried to pry the jaws open. It's well and truly welded solid with rust. So my jarring technique is not going to work on this one. I think I'll probably just soak it in some diesel fuel and leave it soak for a few days, and we'll see how we go. I would drop it in the electrolysis tank. I think I've had good success doing that before. However, I haven't got a tank set up at the moment, and I don't have time to organise one. So I'll soak it in some diesel for now, and we'll see how that goes. Let's have a quick look at the other one. Now, this one appears to be more rusted around the head, but we'll give it a bit of a jar and see what happens. Oh, we've got success with this one. There we go. That one's worked fine. I'll just give that a little bit of a clean up, but it's freeing up beautifully. We don't need oil on it. Excellent. One done, but one fail. Alright guys, it's time to wind this video up. We've got everything processed pretty much. I've laid them out and I've done the notepad, of course. Let's pan down here. It's becoming a real thing, this notepad. I'm glad you like it, because I do. We have the 3 better blacksmith tongs, including the one I freed up, which I think was this one. Works beautifully now. Open it one hand. So no lubrication at all, and it looks the part. So I'm going to go $20 each on those. These next three have been modified. Will go $15 each. This one, I didn't have any success freeing it up. I may still soak it in diesel. I'm pretty sure I could get it freed up, but I've priced it at 10 in the condition it's in. If we get it freed up, it'll easily be a 20, but we'll call it 10 for now. These large pincers, were the German ones, we're going 20, and also the ear notch marking tool because it cleaned up nicely, and I did quickly check online and they seem to sell pretty well. You can buy them new still. We'll go 20 on that. These pincers I've gone for 15, as with the mystery tool that we will identify soon in our next mystery object video. So 15 each on those. The bolster, I think I also went 15. It's branded High Test, a well-known quality tool brand, and it's in good condition, so 15 on that. And 5 on the last two. These rollers I've dropped to 5. These ones I've ended up going 5 the pair. I worked out, I wasn't sure when I first put them out of the box, but I believe they're rollers for your boat trailer. Correct me if I'm wrong, I've never owned a boat. I've only ever been in one a few times in my life, but I think that's what they are. These ones I was saying were rollers from a washing machine mangle. They may indeed be some sort of roller off maybe a boat trailer as well, although I haven't seen that sort before. Anyway, I've just decided to go $5 on that group. It's better than putting them in the scrap, and someone will repurpose them somehow. And of course we have the box that cleaned up quite nicely. Just gave it a wash with the hose out on the lawn. It's pretty good. I think we'll go 20 on that. So bringing back to our list here, prices as just mentioned. It's quite amazing that that box lot added up to $240. So nothing outstanding at all, but the old multiplication effect comes into play. Really good return. Some really interesting tools for my shop, especially with the blacksmith tools. You don't get them all the time. And timber boxes always sell well, especially army ones. So thanks for watching another unboxing video, guys. I seem to get a good response from these, and as I mentioned a few times, you guys are helping keep me motivated because I'm sorting out these boxes of stuff, most of which I feel I've never seen before. So that was another good one. Some more good stock for the shop. We open our shop this time of the year quite a lot. So this is the last video before Christmas. It's the 23rd as I'm filming this. So from Boxing Day, which is the 26th, through to, well, at least the 1st of January, we open every day because there's a lot of tourists in town. So we'll be busy. I'll be probably filming a few more unboxings maybe in the evening. But as far as this one goes, this is the last before Christmas. So I want to wish you, all you guys, a Merry Christmas in whatever form Christmas takes for you, whether it's just a holiday or whether it's the whole religious thing, whatever. I hope you have a great time with your family. And best wishes for the new year, but I'll see you before then. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.